All right, so on today's schedule, you're going to finish number 9. Those of you face to face here in my room, you can turn it in when you're done or turn it in tomorrow before you test. Either one's fine with me, but don't turn it in on the Google form. And you're kind of in a rhythm of doing that, but I would much rather have your paper copies. So these links for turning stuff in is now only for the distance learners. All right, so you can just hand it to me today when you finish. Distance learners, yours isn't due today. It's due tomorrow before the test, but if you finish it today, I linked it on here, so you can at least send it to me before you forget. So somebody asked me what they could do to like prepare for this. That's what we've been doing for the last 2-3 weeks. So I wouldn't suggest really doing much of anything unless you know you have a really weak spot, right? Then do that independently. But I did pass out this BC Bible, and it's got everything AB through BC in it. So you might just want to, if you're done with number 9, just sort of page through it and refresh your brain on especially some of the formulas. But you can cross off these topics. And I don't even remember what they are. Let me find it so I know why. Number 2, you don't really need, even in odd functions is a pre-calculus topic, and it really doesn't help us do anything. You should know about them, but same with I can't say it, periodicity. I have some words I just can't say. Simonin is one of them. Periodicity. That's not right. Say it. Is it periodicity? That doesn't flow well off my tongue. All right, anyway, that, you don't really need to know about that. Number 9, that comes in later for us in our series. So number 9 about what E actually is, don't worry about that. 23A, and I wouldn't go through and memorize all this. You should read through it and know you know it. And if there's maybe some small thing, just read it over. So 23, yeah, the formal definition of the integral. Don't worry about that right now. That's something I always cover like the day before the test because everybody always forgets it. That's the BC equivalent of inverse functions in AB. Everybody just forgets it. So the later I do it, the better. So none of that will be on there tomorrow. 23A, I just said. 25 to the second part. So let's go look at, oh yeah. So that second fundamental theorem of calculus, they'll never have a function on the bottom. And if they do, it's really just a formula, so it's not any harder. But I would like you on 25, the second one, to replace that h of x with like a c or an a. Like put some constant up there. That you do need to know. We called it dump and derive. Yeah, so it would be f of g of x times g prime of x. All right, so just so you know that, not a whole lot of 26 will be tested just because parametric is the BC equivalent, but you could expect maybe one thing on that, but not a whole lot. What's the other one? I have 30C. Yep, there won't be shells. If you use them, you don't get penalized. Sometimes they're easier, but you don't have to know how to do shells, even though I taught it. Uh-oh, I just accidentally went backwards. So that's the other one. 38 has the polar stuff, I believe. And the 8th, no, the 5th one, you don't need to know arc length in polar. You do in parametric and you do rectilinear. All right, so you can take this. I got the first year I taught, and I didn't know the super details of the AP test, but you don't need to know how to do arc length in polar form. And then after that, that's our next unit. If you want to look over how weird it looks, all the series stuff, it's just full of all kinds of fun things. Doesn't it look a little bit daunting to look at it before? It is. It's always the 6th FRQ on the BC exam. So just so you know. So what else was I going to say? Oh, one thing and I'm just going to have you look up here. I think I can write on I did an extension here on my Chromebook. I'm trying to click on this little guy right here. Just a second. I think I can if I go right here. There we go. All right. Hide when minimized. Don't want to annotate. All right, so I'm going to grab a pen here and just try to, I don't want to get up and then Let's do in yellow. If you had a Diffie Q that looked like this, the rate that the water level is going down over time, woo, is equal to, and let's suppose it was like 3, I'm just going to make up a fake one, W plus 1. There wasn't any of these in that packet. And a lot of times with one like this, kids will go, well, how do I do that? Because it's addition and it's not a product and I can't separate. You can. Do you see how? I'm just going to let you look at it for a little bit. Can you see it? This happened on the AP exam like 3-4 years ago, and the kids came back and said, they had one that we couldn't separate, and you said that that's all we know. And it is until you get to Calc 4. That's the only solving technique you know for a Diffie Q. That's separable. Anyone want to tell me how before we quit for the day? And there's one similar to it on your test tomorrow, so that's why I picked this. I was like, they're going to think they can't separate this like what happened in 2015 or whatever. Yeah, do you see it, Witter? Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying. She's saying, so we divide by 3W plus 1, or 1 over 3W plus 1 over on the left. The right, I whip the dt over, and there's actually a function there. What is it? 1. And what's 1's antiderivative? T plus C. So this one actually does pass to the natural log, right? Would there be a fraction correction with it on the left or not? Yeah, so 1/3 natural log 3W plus 1 equals, right? So just make sure you know how to, like, I thought, would that have stumped you, do you think?
Yes.
Yeah. It's so easy, it's harder than the ones you've been doing. I mean, one side is the easiest thing to anti-differentiate in the world, which is what Witter said, there's a 1 over there. Well, that's easy. But you haven't practiced it much. All right, so that's it. Today what I want you to do is you're going to wrap up this number 9, but we're going to have a really quiet work day today. So for people who are done with it, they can just kind of get in the headspace and start looking through that work Bible. Yesterday it's totally fine. Like some days I like it noisy when you're talking things out, which is what was happening yesterday. But today we're going to be like in the zone. There's really nothing you can do to study except maybe to sort of be like, oh, I forgot how to find an absolute max, and just read it over or something. All right. But I was going to tell you also the format of your test tomorrow. It will be 31 multiple choice questions that I've taken off a 45 multiple choice question secure practice exam. So it's actually authentic. All right. I didn't put some on there. All the series sequence stuff, which was about 8 of them, it's a huge part of your test. I threw those out, and then just some randos because it would have been too long. So you'll be taking like 3/4 of an actual exam. All right, and what percent to get an A? About 75% on up will give you some form of an A. All right, so you can afford to miss some. Yep. Yes. Yep, you'll be taking it off the computer, but writing. Yeah. All right, and those of you distance learners, you'll be joining me with a meet, and that link is tomorrow. So you'll be taking it in class with us in a meet, and join that meet. I think I said to join on your phone. I might change that. I have to see if that'll work. All right, go ahead. You guys can work the whole rest of the hour. If you want to turn in your number 9, go ahead. But I told you I'd give you the day to work on it.